What's happening, people? Harry Scarfe here with your daily Tottenham news headlines. So let's crack straight into it. Thank you very much for coming in. If you're new to the channel, please do like and subscribe. So let's go through some of the stories in the last 24 hours that are making the headlines. We'll start with kind of Yves Bissouma because we've got a report here from La Gazzetta dello Sport. So, big newspaper company saying Juventus are understood to be evaluating the signing of Tottenham Hotspur midfielder Yves Bissouma. Spurs chairman Daniel Levy values the central midfielder in the region of £12.9 million and £17.2 million. And I want to discuss kind of Bissouma's future here. I want to put it as well to you guys. Do you think Tottenham should sell Bissouma or look to sell, or should they keep holding? Because I thought he was instrumental in the Europa League campaign. However, probably out the season, it's been quite inconsistent. So it's not like, oh my goodness, he's going to leave or anything at the moment. But there is that possibility he could leave due to interest from the source here. So this will be interesting to see what happens with Bissouma. I probably lean towards selling him, but it feels harder after he's been really good. It obviously depends on who we can bring in. If we're serious, I think we go to someone like Adam Walton and maybe look to him and pay the money that Crystal Palace want. We won't come cheap, being English, being, I think, ready-made. I think Walton would be fantastic, but is not realistic. So the realistic option would probably be keeping hold of Bissouma. And to be honest with you, we're talking like, if we go halfway in between, about £15 million here, it isn't a lot considering what we pay for Bissouma. I don't think we've ever quite seen the player that we've signed from Brighton. So that is a news story. Anyway, now attention turning to Mohammed Kudus, which I should, would think would take up a large part of this video. So firstly, last night, David Ornstein said that West Ham United have tonight received an offer from Tottenham Hotspur to sign winger Mohammed Kudus. The bid is worth £50 million, that's 50, turned down, but direct club-to-club talks continue. The 24-year-old Ghanaian winger is prioritising Tottenham if he leaves West Ham. The personal terms will be no issue whatsoever. Yeah, that's David Ornstein via The Athletic UK. So, on that one, it's good to see us that we finally got a bid in, but there'll probably be a big gap in valuation. What we're like. What was his release clause? Is it about 85 million? So I think West Ham will want to, listen or do business above probably about 65 million pounds. I think there's definitely better out there, but we're not doing a lot in the transfer market. I think the priority is we've got to bank Thomas Frank, give him the best possible chance going into next season. We don't want to get to the end of the window and be what if, all these kind of regrets. So I think right now, based on the fact that Mbeumo is probably going to go to United, Eze is probably going to go to Arsenal, Semenya signed a new contract, I think we have to go for Kudus. I personally think there is better out there. Those names that I mentioned before, in particular Mbeumo and Eze, of course, don't forget Xavi Simons as well. I think that we should be going for them. I think we should be fighting, tooth and nail for Mbeumo, for Eze. But if they don't want to come to Tottenham, there's no point in having a player here. I've said that about players that want to leave as well, about Romero, as much as I'd like to keep him. So if Kudus wants Tottenham, it does make sense. I think his numbers are a slight concern. Consistency is a slight worry. There's no doubt about the ability, the potential, and there's no doubt about it. He would drastically, well, I don't know about drastically, maybe, but he would improve our forward line. He would bolster our numbers. He would improve the quality, and I think he would start regularly in this Thomas Frank system, in Thomas Frank's team, in Thomas Frank's forward line. But could we get better? Yeah, probably. Is he worth that money? Probably not. But big clubs are just going to get the deal done and bring someone in. For me, we need to look at how can we improve the forward line, because your best one with a defence is attack. But that is what David Ornstein's story was last night. We've got further news kind of in the last few hours. Firstly, from Fabrizio Romano, he says Tottenham are set to bid again for Mohammed Kudus next week, as the player is keen on joining Spurs. Chelsea have also been in touch with Kudus' camp, with more clubs also interested now, but Spurs want to accelerate quickly to beat other clubs. Thomas Frank has already approved Kudus as a key target. The piece of this post that I want to focus on is about Thomas Frank. Fabrizio Romano said here that Thomas Frank has already approved Kudus as a key target. So that means the manager wants it. We know that Kudus wants to come to Tottenham. Tottenham want Kudus. It's just absolutely perfect, and that is enough for me to bring him in. Concerned that Chelsea are involved, because I think, to be honest with you, Chelsea probably going with a bid instantly, about 60, 65 million, about 10, 15 million above us. I can see that. They just want to get the player. But if the player wants Tottenham, that will help. I think there may be like a Tottenham tax in there from West Ham, so it's something to consider, which is a shame, but it is the way it is. We're never going to be able to do business easily, if at all, with, in particular, Chelsea and West Ham, but probably Arsenal as well. But it's good that we're going to go in for another bid. We need to accelerate. We just need to get on with it, bring him in. So, we want Frank to have new signings for pre-season. At the moment, we haven't really signed anyone. Tell was here last season, so I don't really count him. Again, another update about Mohammed Kudus, this time from Jacob Steinsberg from The Guardian. West Ham do not want to sell Mohammed Kudus to Tottenham. Chelsea are expected to bid if they sell Noni Madueke to Arsenal. West Ham are prepared to sell to Chelsea. Tottenham have already agreed terms with Kudus, who wants to join Spurs. That's a really interesting piece. Jacob Steinsberg, The Guardian. Wow, okay. We've learnt from that, according to The Guardian, that West Ham are prepared to sell to Chelsea. No surprise, probably prefer to sell to Chelsea than Tottenham. But we've already agreed terms with Kudus. That suggests personal terms. That's a big part. David Austin said earlier as well, didn't he, that it wouldn't be an issue, but it looks like that's been agreed according to The Guardian, which is huge. When you have personal terms agreed, and like I keep saying, the player wants the move, that is so important. I think Chelsea, it is, cause for concern, because West Ham would prefer Chelsea, but it looks like Kudus would prefer Tottenham. Further updates, Alistair Gold for Football London has said, understand that Thomas Frank has given roles to both Matt Wells and Stuart Lewis in his new look Spurs coaching setup. It's worth noting that both are really highly rated. It's good. I think it's good to see them both on the staff. So, we won't spend too long discussing this story, but it's good that he's kept kind of members of staff already here and giving them roles. That's it's hard to do. So it's good for Thomas Frank, who I think is in himself a really, really likable guy. But the next story I want to spend a little bit longer on is that from Fabrizio Romano, and that is that Mohammed Kudus is not negotiated with other clubs because he's given priority to Tottenham. The words of Fabrizio Romano via YouTube. So again, it's just like Kudus seems adamant that he wants Tottenham move. I think being the Champions League football and the big club we are, it's a big outfit and a big kind of convincer. But I think that West Ham fans will be a bit upset with Kudus, especially if he comes to Tottenham. I don't think he'll have. I don't think he'd be liked very much at all, but that's just, I'd have to see. It is life, isn't it? If a player wants to Tottenham move, I think there'd be a little bit of hate from West Ham, but he's got to shut that out. I think it'd be an excellent signing from us. An update actually since recording this video from Fabrizio Romano says that understand Mohammed Kudus is not talking to any other club. He wants Tottenham. We said that. There's a little bit more on that, and that is that Kudus has already said yes to the Spurs project, and clubs talk with West Ham will continue very soon. These clear intentions to join Spurs. So we're hearing really definitive, it's very clear, isn't it? Often in a transfer story, you hear conflicting messages from sources, but with this Kudus, it's very clear that he wants this. Tottenham want this, and personal terms are already agreed. I just think this is going to happen. So I think bring Kudus to the club. I think he brings pace. He brings skill. I think he definitely has the confidence, has the flair. It's just about working on that end product. Is he the next trial Ray? Can we improve that end product? I think he definitely starts, and I see Son as, I think Son would keep him in Son. I think we should be using him as more of a bench player, an impact player. And I think Kudus could be the regular starter, that long-term replacement for Son. But that's just how I feel. So there's quite a lot of news there. But if we can bring Kudus in, that's important to be a first, I think, kind of major signing under Thomas Frank. I think we need a lot more than that. I think then we have to move on to the midfield, also improve the defence. If we maybe look to sell the likes of Romero or Dragusin, we have to bring in options to replace. But if you all of a sudden sign a top winger, I think that fixes a lot of your problems, because going into this window, we did need a winger. Signing Matthias Tel's good, but it doesn't improve your forward line from last season, whereas signing Mohammed Kudus absolutely does. But those are your Tottenham transfer news headlines for today and my opinions. You can follow me at Harry Scarfe 22 across all socials. Thank you very much for listening. I also have my own YouTube channel and podcast, Scarfe Spurs Talk. Make sure you like and subscribe here to Chris Callan's channel and what I'll be doing regular videos for. Now I'm honoured to be part of the team, so like and subscribe here. But yeah, you can follow me, Harry Scarfe 22, across all socials. I'm an advocate for autism and a football content creator. But for now, come on, you Spurs.